I hope he said the right things about me because I didn't understand everything. So thanks for having me. My name is Matthias Daub'ın. I'm a partner with McKinsey Company. Have been with the firm for 13 years, and I lead our strategy and innovation work here in Istanbul. I'm originally from Little Istanbul, from Berlin, but now spend most of my time here. I'm going to talk about some of the disruptions that are in front of us, and all leave after 2 minutes. I think there's 3 things to take away with, plus 1. There is a lot of what we do, where we lead the business and the global economy. And then the 4th message is we're very poor at acting it and understanding it. So we still have a number of surprises along the way. What is this? Anybody? Come on, say something. A copy machine, a medical device. Medical device is closer than copy machine. Anybody else? It is a DNA sequencer. It helps you to determine the genes, either in our body or on our body. How much does this device cost? 100,000. Very good. It's 50,000, including shipping and handling. And you can basically conduct a DNA analysis in 1 week, including shipping and handling. So if you order it today, you have the analysis done end of next week. How long did this take 20 years back or 15 years back? 13 years, very good. Craig Venter, the Human Genome Project, and it costed billions. So look, there's a massive change in technology, in the way how we work with this. This can soon be in any doctor's office, so that doctors stop to prescribe medicine that doesn't work. 50% of all medicine that we take into our bodies doesn't work, not because doctors do a poor job, but just because doctors don't know enough about what's in us and what's on us to give us the right medicine. So if we had this, we could basically give very specific medicine. And it scares a bit that even on us, so on our skin, there is even more DNA material than in us. So it's going to be some kind of interesting exercise to find all that out. So I think the first message, there's technology underneath that is transforming basically the basic building blocks of everything in terms of next generation genomics and in terms of advanced materials. So it has potential to affect life. Second thing, what is this? I heard organs, right? What type of organs? I have a finger, an ear. Is this? Kidney. Very good. Excellent. Good. So what they have in common is that they are 3D printed. I'm kidding. This is 3D printed. This is 3D printed. This is not yet 3D printed. But these two come out of a machine. The majority of things that are today printed on 3D printers are for production. They are not for prototyping, but they are for medical devices. They are the covers of our cell phones. They are for hearing aids that have to be fine-tuned to how our ear looks like. So already today, the majority of the products that leave 3D printers are basically prepared for production and no longer for testing. And there is a massive change underway that will impact how we transport things and how we organize production, because all the flows of good will be impacted by this. Now, what is this?
Self-driving.
Very good, yeah. From the first DARPA challenge that took place 2004 in the US. The American military said, well, we need to advance our research on driving and autonomous cars. we don't have enough funding to do this, so let's put out a prize of $1 million and ask companies and universities to go into the desert and drive a distance with a self-driving car. Now, the first time this took place, this is what happened. One of the cars went into its support vehicle, the other one went straight into the surroundings. There was a motorcycle that didn't even cross the start line. It basically toppled over before it actually started. 10 years later, 2014, I think we stopped the challenge because all the cars made it easily into the target. This is a Toyota Prius, which is basically already by now a fully electrified car. So it has electric steering on everything it does. It does only take very little intelligence to transform it into a fully autonomous car. And if you are in the Silicon Valley, you will see Google cars that are already driving around. In Germany, there's a first strip on the motorway that is designated for test driving autonomous trucks. Again, something that has the potential to either lift a lot of traffic jams or maybe even make them worse because it doesn't matter now how long we're in the traffic. What is this? That's a bit tougher. This is Baxter. Baxter is an industrial robot who doesn't kill people. Industrial robots are typically very dangerous. That's why we put them in cages and we train them and we program them, and we need 10 programmers so that they do the right things. Baxter, you can basically explain to him what he has to do. There is a clip out on YouTube where it shows how you can program. The other nice thing about Baxter is that he costs $25,000 versus $250,000 and way more for industrial robots. And this is something that will very likely impact more on the way how we produce, how flexibly we work together with machines. So you can never have an industrial robot in your house because it's too big, too expensive. But you could have a Baxter in your home that takes care of cooking and so forth. Japan already has introduced robots that help in elderly care. So take it away, machines that work for us as one of the key themes. What is this? That's easy. Watson. You know Watson, right? The IBM artificial intelligence. Basically, this one beating the all-time winner in the Jeopardy series far, just because it's able to gather an enormous amount of information. Or you could say it's a game. It's not. This is how you did a few years back. You did litigations when there was a compliance issue in a company. The attorneys would go in and would carry away boxes and boxes of documents. And they would print out all the emails and then basically sift through them. They would hire additional lawyers to make sure that they find evidence for or against the organization. This is a new tool, Needle Finder it's called, which basically sifts through the entire email traffic of an organization and does the same. People. Kind of an archetype of a journalist documenting sports results or documenting stock market movements. This is now being done by a machine. There are machines out there, there are programs out there that basically automate the article writing, at least for very free. Halil has talked a lot about the advances that happen in our personal lives, the Ubers, the Airbnb, and so on. Our estimate is that this is only 30% of the overall volume that is behind this. 70% is still in the business-to-business world, in the processes that drive how companies work internally or with others. Let me give you an example. When you look at logistics or oil production, there is roughly 30,000 individual data points that are being measured at any given point in time, and only less than 1% of these tags are being used for decision making. This has a huge opportunity. For instance, a platform for oil drilling that you can, where you very granular understand when you need to maintain it, can produce much longer. Or an aircraft that already sends a signal to the next airport where it's going and says, I know exactly what spare part I need. You don't have to send me to a full overhaul. It's going to be much more efficient because it can stay much longer in air and on operation. So the shift towards predictive maintenance is something that is going to increase the efficiency of the way how we work with very expensive goods quite a lot. Finally, data-driven decisions. This is, and the little golden arrows here will tell you, it's a laboratory store of McDonald's close to their headquarters, where they basically measure everything and have people come in and really measure what they do, when they order, how much they order, to try and optimize the way how they produce and how they work with their customers. Everything is basically measured, evaluated in order to constantly improve the way how they work with their customers. I think you remember this car. It's Tesla. You might also remember that there was quite a scandal when some of these fire and smoke, because they were very low, and then they hit a stone, and then the battery started to catch fire. Now, what typically happens with cars is that the moment that you drive off the dealer lot, the car loses 20% of its value. What happened with Tesla was when they found out about this, they basically sent an update overnight to all the cars. And they said, can you please lift yourself 5 centimeters higher? The cars did, and the next morning the problem was gone. So the cars basically overnight increase in value, something that these two old friends here typically don't do. So think about that. Think about what happens if products actually become better when you use them rather than lose their value. This is all around how we use IT, how we use the Internet of Things, and how we make sure that we tie together the information that we have on this. We did these technologies and the way how they can impact our lives. Now, everybody would probably recognize that mobile internet is something that has huge potential on the economies. There are some things that are less well known. So the automation of knowledge work that I talked about briefly is something that is typically completely underestimated. Think about the potential that it has to eliminate, change, create new jobs when this comes to full potential. And similar or a higher potential than the mobile internet. We're often not very good at spotting what's coming next. I'm done. I'll leave you with this. I didn't manage to bring us back on time, which was hard because I had only 15 minutes. But thank you very much for your attention. And